Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask. Today is Friday, the 28th day of February. You know, sometimes this is the last day of the month, but not this time.
Not today.
It is not. It is National Chocolate Souffle Day, National Floral Design Day, National Public Sleeping Day. Have you ever fallen asleep in public?
No.
Me neither.
Yes, you have.
Okay. Actually, I have a lot. Skip the Straw Day, Tartar Sauce Day, and National Tooth Fairy Day. All of those things happening on this, the 28th day of February. Also, was it last week was President's Day? I think that was last week. Anyway, I was trying to line this interview up for President's Day, and it didn't work out. But we do have President George Washington on the program today.
Really?
Yeah, it's a lady who did a show about him. We've got Doris Kearns Goodwin, and there's a mini-series called Washington, and we're going to be chatting with her. And it looks like it's really good. It's been on, I don't know, a couple weeks now, and I'm going to get all the details coming up in a bit.
Student loan debt is out of control for many people. Are you one of them? The average graduate walks away with anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 in student loans. Believe it or not, 2% even manage to owe over $100,000 by the time they graduate. If you have several different student loans, let us consolidate them into one loan and one payment at singlestudentloan.com. If you have only one student loan, we may be able to offer you a better rate to help you get that loan paid off sooner at singlestudentloan.com. That's singlestudentloan.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. A study from the University of Copenhagen found that short men are more likely to develop dementia. Well, that's not good. That doesn't seem fair. I wonder why that is.
I don't know.
Doesn't make a ton of sense to me. I've got a link to the story if you're concerned or if you just want to know more. It is in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
When was the last time you got a new credit card? If you have a card that's been in your purse or wallet for a long time, you should check and see if you're getting the best rates. You may find a better credit card that will give you the points you want or cashback options you don't get right now. At BetterCreditCards.com, you see all the major credit card companies and their best offers. Let them compete to earn your business. And if the one you have right now is better, keep it. Find a card that's a better fit for you at BetterCreditCards.com. That's BetterCreditCards.com.
This is your Brain on Drugs, brought to you by TimeForRehab.com. A closet and a safe under a 64-year-old grandmother's bed in a senior complex is not where you would typically think you'd find a bunch of illegal dope and guns, but...
Oh, no!
Yeah, that's what happened. Federal task force found it when they dismantled a drug trafficking organization and arrested 11 suspects.
Did we just talk about this?
I think so. It says recent court documents reveal the organization was using a senior housing complex. It's got the name of it. I don't know how to say it, though. As a place to stash their drugs and their guns. 42-year-old Ahmad Rashad Weston he was the one that was leading the ring. Anyway, they were using his 64-year-old mother's apartment.
I could see that. I mean, you're going in to visit your elderly relatives.
Yeah, see Mom. Anyway, it turns out that the 42-year-old and his 38-year-old brother got arrested, and I think Mom's in trouble too. 7 pounds of marijuana, 4 handguns, and numerous magazines and bullets from the senior complex. They are awaiting trial on federal charges. That is what happens when your brain is on drugs.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by ChannelSurferTV.com. Corey Feldman announced plans to release a new documentary March 9th.
I'm glad he's actually releasing it.
Yeah, this documentary will name the Hollywood producers who abused him and Corey Haim.
Good for him. I'm glad he's finally releasing it.
Very concerned for Corey Feldman's safety, though. Because
I'm surprised he got the documentary done. But he's been saying all along that
he self-financed this.
Yeah, but I'm surprised that he was able to get it done without being murdered. Is what I'm saying.
And I'm very concerned. You know, it's really sad what happened, and you know the story that's coming out. We're hearing more and more about it, but he's going to do the tell-all
for him. I'm
March
glad.
the 9th, so it'll be here next month. Quentin Tarantino and his wife Daniela Pick welcomed their first child after she gave birth to a baby boy in Israel. So happy birthday, or happy birthday to the Tarantinos. So online there was a story about this, and people were guessing what the baby's first word will be. Quentin Tarantino is known for using some pretty colorful language. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
It's a new year. Have you made a resolution to quit drinking or to finally get away from drugs for good? These are both habits that are hard to kick, but you can do it. We want to help you. TimeForRehab.com is here to help you find the help you need with your particular situation. If you want to make this year the year you get the help you need to live a normal life again, start with a little help from us at TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com.
Now your scoop of the day, brought to you by FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. Nearly 1 in 4 women say they wish their man had better table manners. Do you wish I had better table manners?
Yes.
What? Whoa, that was a fast yes. What do I do that's not very polite?
Always pulling out your phone and messing around with your phone when there's other people at the table with you. It's extremely, extremely, extremely rude.
I'm going to try to quit doing that. Hang on, I got to just finish this one text.
And taking things off of other people's plates without permission is a little rude.
Oh, hey, I learned my lesson on that. I ate some floor bacon. This happened not too long ago. My son, who's 23, he was sitting with us, and his food was done, and he had some bacon laying on his plate. And I didn't say anything. I just reached over and grabbed it and started eating. And he said, that bacon was on the floor.
And our daughter said,
Everybody
what'd you learn about eating food off of other people's plates?
Everybody was laughing. And I just kept eating the bacon. I'm like, this is good floor bacon. Really good floor bacon. So, a group of instrument movers. They're hired to move a $194,000 piano out of a recording studio in Berlin. It ended in disaster. This is such a sad story. Angela Hewitt, one of the world's leading classical pianists, revealed this calamity about a week ago on a heartbreaking Facebook post. She says, I feel ready now to share a very sad piece of news. It happened 10 days ago. So this happened like probably a month ago altogether now. She said, it's been such a shock to me. I didn't immediately want to share this with the world. The piano movers came to the control room where I was finishing up with my producer to say that they had dropped my precious Fazoli concert grand piano.
Oh, man.
The piano cannot be repaired. $194,000 piano.
I'm sure she had it insured.
Well, and I'm sure the movers had insurance, but boy, that might be their last move. That's a big claim. It's one thing to scratch a table or something, but boy, $194,000.
That's awful.
Precious instrument destroyed. Yikes. It's 2020, and there is simply no excuse to be caught with chapped lips, according to this. It says even the pickiest person can find some sort of lip balm they like, but there's a lot of people out there that may be ready for something like this one. Oreo-flavored lip balm. Yeah, I don't know if I really think I need this. It is now available. It says the container is basically the size of an actual Oreo. So once you use it all up, you can clear it out and like store one single Oreo wherever you go. Who needs that?
Yeah, I don't think I would want my lips to taste like Oreos.
I don't think I need any of that. But that's what's happening on the internet these days. And one last story, maybe we'll get to two, one at least. A man in Russia was picked up by prison police as he tried to use a crossbow to fire phones into a jail for inmates to use. He had 18 phones strapped to the ends of crossbow bolts with tape, and he was shooting them into the prison. And he got caught. Wow. And then there's one last thing. I'm going to squeeze this last thing in.
Criminals are getting more and more creative.
Yeah. Axe body spray turns 18 years old this week.
Okay.
Which is also about the average age of their users. So here's the thing.
And about as long as it's been since some of them have showered.
Take a shower, too. Yeah. Even if you spray that stuff on, take a shower. Come on. Do yourself and everybody a favor. Take a shower. Thanks for listening to The John and Heidi Show.
Student loan debt is out of control for many people. Are you one of them? The average graduate walks away with anywhere from $25,000 to $40,000 in student loans. Believe it or not, 2% even manage to owe over $100,000 by the time they graduate. If you have several different student loans, let us consolidate them into one loan and one payment at singlestudentloan.com. If you have only one student loan, we may be able to offer you a better rate to help you get that loan paid off sooner at singlestudentloan.com. That's singlestudentloan.com.
Our guest today is Doris Kearns Goodwin, a world-renowned presidential historian, a Pulitzer Prize-winning, New York Times #1 best-selling author, and she's the executive producer of the miniseries Washington that was recently on the History Channel, and you can still see it online. We've got Doris joining us now. Thank you so much for taking time to chat with us.
Oh, I'm glad to be with you. Absolutely.
So the miniseries Washington, how in the world did you get involved in this fun project?
Well, I had always wanted to study George Washington. He was the one big guy that had never become one of my own after Lincoln and Teddy and Franklin Roosevelt and LBJ. So I was thrilled when History approached me, and they were already starting the process doing a miniseries on George Washington, and I realized, oh my God, I can learn as I do this. So I learned not only the process of doing an executive production and what it involves, but more importantly, I think I learned about George Washington because the arc of the show takes him from an overconfident, cocky young man who leads a first incredibly chaotic mission into somebody who learns from his mistakes and eventually becomes this leader that we know. So he's not the monument at the beginning. He becomes that over time, and that's what was the great journey to be able to take with him.
Nowadays, we hear about presidential legacies. Did Washington have a legacy?
Oh, without a question. I mean, I think the most important parts of that legacy are that the peaceful transition of power. He does it twice. You know, when he was general, as most generals would have, he would have kept his commander-in-chief post and run the government, but instead he resigned and went home. As General Powell said, he could have been a king. King evidently said when he heard Washington had done this, that if he had done it, it would make him the greatest man in the world. And then he does it again. After his second term, he could have stayed for the third, fourth, lifetime term, but he took a stand and declined to run for that third term, establishing once again that peaceful transition of power, which my historian colleague on the show says, John Meacham, it was almost as revolutionary as the war itself that he did that. So those precedents, plus the precedents he set, just even being the first president, what do you do with a president? Do you call him His Mightiness or his president? Does he shake hands with people? Does he go to dinners? All of that. It was all so new. That's what was fun to watch.
So George Washington, we see him on the quarter, on the dollar bill. He's on Mount Rushmore. How do you take somebody so iconic and make them relatable in a program like Washington?
Well, I think part of it is that you get the historians who know him well, who know the stories that will be human stories of him, rather than just the facts and figures. And then you have actors portraying the revolutionary battles, portraying his anxiety when he's about to become president, his anxiety before big battles, which he might lose. So you can watch the faces of a George Washington, played really well by this actor Nicholas Rowe, who was young Sherlock Holmes in an earlier movie and was in The American Crown. And then there's British soldiers in there and British generals. So the combination of the historian's authenticity and the dramatic scenes that are built on letters and as much knowledge as is possible, I'd like to think brings him to life. But most importantly, only because he's not great at the beginning, he's born to greatness. He's not. It's a journey, and you take it with him.
Now, Doris, you're a historian, but while you were working on this project, were there things that even surprised you as a historian?
Oh, without question. Not only even me. I learned so much from it. Experiences very much in the French and Indian War. I hadn't known of the difficult mistakes that he had made and how he had to learn from them. I hadn't watched him with Martha. I mean, I'd seen pictures of them, but somehow had never experienced that there was this depth of affection between the two of them. You watch him dance, and there's a great moment when Joe Ellis, the historian, says that Martha was a great catch because she had land and money, and George was a great catch because he was a stud. I'm not sure I thought of him as a stud before. So that there's these moments in the film where you just connect to him emotionally, and by the end, you know, when he's dying, I felt a sense of sadness, so that I felt like I had come to walk by his side for a little period of time.
The program is called Washington, and what would you like people to take away from this miniseries?
Well, I think in a time of great anxiety as we are in right now, that viewers can take away that this revolution was almost lost many times before it was won. The republic itself almost fell apart, and yet with the citizens being active and the leadership of George Washington, we prevailed, just as we did in the Civil War, in the Great Depression, in the early days of World War II, and that's what history does. I think it provides perspective and solace and can make us feel better about the times we're experiencing right now.
Doris, thank you so much for taking the time to visit with us.
You're very welcome. Thank you, and you take care.
The miniseries Washington from the History Channel, I've got a link to it online in our show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Do you have a lucky shirt? FunkyMonkeyShirts.com has several lucky shirts to wear next month for St. Patrick's Day. Or if it's a really lucky shirt, you can wear it every day. Green shirts, four-leaf clovers, Irish sayings, and more. Don't wait. If you order your lucky shirt right now, it can be here in time to wear for St. Patrick's Day. Find t-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies, and more at FunkyMonkeyShirts.com. That's FunkyMonkeyShirts.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
The Comic Sans font, which is probably my least favorite font. I'm sorry, Comic Sans fans. It actually came from a real, actual comic book.
Really?
So a lot of people don't like that. I actually remember seeing there was a thing that said there was like a note stuck on a door and it was written in Comic Sans, and then somebody underneath of it typed in a regular font, "We're a Fortune 500 company. Stop using Comic Sans." Anyway, it was designed by Vincent Connare, Connare. He was a comic book writer, and there were people who were big fans of his work, the Watchmen series. Anyway, they went through and said, hey, let's take his handwritten letters and turn that into a font. And that's what we've got. Comic Sans. Thanks for listening to today's Fun Fact.
When was the last time you got a new credit card? If you have a card that's been in your purse or wallet for a long time, you should check and see if you're getting the best rates. You may find a better credit card that will give you the points you want or cashback options you don't get right now. At bettercreditcards.com, you see all the major credit card companies and their best offers. Let them compete to earn your business. And if the one you have right now is better, keep it. Find a card that's a better fit for you at bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Now, a news headline from somewhere in this world, Dateline, England. British MP, John Grundy, has apologized for a video that shows him flashing a woman in a pub. What? What in the world? Why in the world would you do that? I don't understand that. And this guy's been elected? That's... All right.
I'm sure he was kidding about something. I'm sure he didn't just walk up to somebody and flash her just because something...
I don't know what was
conversation-wise happened that brought that about. But
yeah, I don't know what happened there exactly.
Being brought back now, too.
This has been a news headline from somewhere in this world.
It's a new year. Have you made a resolution to quit drinking or to finally get away from drugs for good? These are both habits that are hard to kick, but you can do it. We want to help you. TimeForRehab.com is here to help you find the help you need with your particular situation. If you want to make this year the year you get the help you need to live a normal life again, start with a little help from us at TimeForRehab.com. That's TimeForRehab.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. According to the police in Florida, a man who felt like he was being ignored in his hospital room decided to get some attention by setting the room on fire.
Oh, yeah, that'll get you attention.
He got all kinds of attention. Authorities say John King admitted that he set the plastic bag on fire because he felt like they were ignoring him. He said, I wanted some clothes and I wanted them to come. I thought the fire would get their attention. Well, it sure did. He had a roommate in the room with him.
Oh, my gosh.
The roommate watched him light a small object on fire, but convinced him to put out the flame. However, he returned to his bed behind a curtain, did it again.
Oh, my gosh.
King gave authorities a silver and red Bic lighter that he used to start the fire. He was arrested on a felony charge of arson. Says the damage was somewhere in the neighborhood of $4,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, that could have been even worse. So, wow, that's definitely today's weird news.
John and Heidi.
Now, your moment of duh, brought to you by SingleStudentLoan.com. An Irving-based demolition company sent out a little apology when they tore down the wrong house.
This has happened so many times. You would think you would check and double check and triple check.
They should pound a sign in the yard, say this house is being torn down, or like spray paint, whatever, some sort of plan, anything that's better than what they're doing. The home, the Vickery Place neighborhood, was mistakenly demolished Wednesday after they pulled up in front of the wrong house. Neighbors around the home know as the Pink House. They realized right away a couple lives a couple doors over. We walked over and took a look at it, and we were just shocked. They had an active permit to tear down a home at 5336 Richard Avenue. They ended up several homes away when they tore down Bobby Linwood's home. He told the people his small business, he said his small business made a mistake, but they thought they were initially at the correct location. Oh, so Bobby Linwood was the owner of the company, not the home.
Yikes.
So,
talk about an expensive
whoopsie
claim.
daisies. And I don't know. There's a link here I could
Whoever
click and
owns
see.
that home, though, is going to get a brand new house on that
probably
lot.
will. Probably will. Thanks for listening to today's Moment of Duh.
When was the last time you got a new credit card? If you have a card that's been in your purse or wallet for a long time, you should check and see if you're getting the best rates. You may find a better credit card that will give you the points you want or cashback options you don't get right now. At bettercreditcards.com, you see all the major credit card companies and their best offers. Let them compete to earn your business. And if the one you have right now is better, keep it. Find a card that's a better fit for you at bettercreditcards.com. bettercreditcards.com. That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for fake news or Florida. Heidi, tell me, is this a true story from the great state of Florida, or is it made up to trick you and amuse me? Ready?
I am ready.
All right. Fake news or Florida? A Florida man was arrested after he drunkenly called 911 and claimed his wife was now a black widow spider. Fake news or Florida?
I'm going to say Florida.
That is a true story. What in the world was in that booze? My wife turned into a spider. What?
And she's
My
trying
wife.
to kill me.
She turned into a spider. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she didn't. But we're going to come over just in case. I don't know exactly what was going on there, but what a bizarre story. Hey, by the way, if you happen to come across an amazing story that you think just has to be shared, you can share that with us. Or if you want to make up a story, I love it when people send me fake stories. If you've got fake news rolling around in your brain, you can do all of that through our website. On the very bottom of the page, you'll see a little contact form, and that's at johnandheidishow.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. This is another one of these really, we've had like 2 of these now. Really cool story. Comes your way courtesy of bettercreditcards.com, and this happens to be another story where this time an Ohio church wipes out, are you ready for this? $46.5 million in medical debt.
Holy cow.
Yeah, a pastor at a church in Cincinnati mentioned the burden of medical debt during a recent sermon. Within a week and a half, members donated enough to abolish over $46.5 million.
Wow.
Crossroads Church senior pastor Brian Tomey, T-O-M-E, I hope it's Tomey, told members of the congregation if they would like to multiply, they could text this word to this number. I'm not going to say all of that because that's not what we're here for. We're just to share the story. And he said for every dollar raised, they are going to abolish $100 in medical debt.
That's crazy.
So for $1, they erase $100 in medical debt. Anyway, they had churches all over the place that were all chiming in to help with this. And turns out there was, again, this one, $46.5 million total, but there was one church did $42.8 million, another one $1.9 million, just, a couple 100,000 at other places. Just amazing what happens when people step up to help people.
Yeah,
and
that's wonderful.
I think it's sad that, it has to be like this, where why couldn't I, if I have medical debt, could I pay $1 for $100 in debt?
Right. Why does it take an outside person to step in and help out with that?
I'm glad they've got programs to help make this all happen. If you would like to know more about how this works, if you'd like to, read the story, I do have a link to it in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show.